November 2022. 30-year-old worth $32 billion wakes up in the Bahamas. 7 days later, he broke. Name was Sam Bankman. For 3 years, he convinced the world he told everyone he'd give away his billions to charity. That he lived with 10 roommates. That he drove a beat-up Toyota because yachts were wasteful. Bill Clinton shook his hand. Politicians invited him to Congress to talk about the future of finance. Then, 1 week, it all vanished. $32 billion to zero. $10 billion in customer money, gone. Fraud wasn't the plenty of people commit fraud. The interesting part, how he built it right in front of everyone. Nobody knows. 2012, physics student at MIT Sam Bankman-Fried gets introduced to a philosophy called effective altruism. The pitch was simple. Don't just do good, do the most good possible. According to this philosophy, the best way to help the world wasn't working at charity, was getting rich and giving it all away. Sam liked math, liked when now someone was telling him actually heroic. Perfect. After graduation, Sam got a job at a trading firm in New York. In 3 years, he quit. Late 2017, Sam noticed some digital asset called Bitcoin selling for $5,000 more in Japan. Different countries, different regulations, different demand. Capital controls made it nearly impossible to move money between markets fast enough to get nearly impossible. But Sam had connections. He convinced a billionaire to loan him money, found contacts and willing to help navigate. 2018, Sam started his own trading company. He called it Alameda Research. The name sounded boring on purpose. Banks wouldn't open accounts for companies sketchy names, but research companies, no problem. For a few months, Alameda made e-money, avoiding price differences. 10 million, maybe 30 million profit. Then the opportunity closed. Markets adjusted. April 28, inside Alameda Research's office, something was very wrong. Co-founder, Tara McCauley, discovered hidden trading losses, misreported numbers, money that couldn't be accounted for. Half the staff was furious. Sam's decisions weren't just risky, they were reckless. You need to step down. No. Tara and half the employees quit that. Later, they'd warn people effective altruism. They said Sam was dangerous, bad representative for nobody listened. With most of his team gone, Sam brought in old friends who wouldn't question. Gary Wang from a math camp, Todd Sim, Caroline L. They were young and inexperienced but loyal. In May 2019, Sam launched FTX, a platform where anyone could trade digital assets. Simple idea. Except Sam also owned Alameda Research. Used FTX. You own the casino, also gambling, and how does anyone know you're not rigging? Trust me, that should have raised alarm. Didn't. Within months, major investors poured money in. By December 2019, CEO of Binance, Changpeng Zhao, had invested millions, and CZ became Sam's biggest supporter. Within 2 years, FTX was valued at $32 billion. But that conflict of interest, Sam, casino owner, also a player, that was about to become a very big problem. By 2021, Sam needed one thing: credibility. So he built a character. The messy hair stayed messy, t-shirt stayed wrinkled, slept on beanbags in his office, chief operating officer allegedly made investors, billionaire in cargo shorts drove a Toyota Corolla, split rent with 10 rooms, treated luxury like a personal. Media loved it. Here was a billionaire didn't care about wealth, who wanted to save the world. Sequoia Capital wrote a 45-page calling him futures first. Then Sam started spending $14 million Super Bowl equity deals with Tom Brady, and his Kevin O'Leary, who'd once called the industry garbage, suddenly became a spokesperson for 15. FTX's logo appeared at baseball uniforms, Formula One cars, everywhere. It worked. By mid-2022, FTX had raised billions. Biggest investors. Same year, market started. New projects, Clara and $60 billion wiped out. Companies started failing. Sam had convinced a billionaire to money, contacts, and willing to help. Now, 2018, Sam started his trading, called it Alameda Research. The name sounded boring. Purpose. Banks wouldn't open accounts for companies. Research problem. For a few months, Alameda made money, putting price difference. Markets. 10 million, 30 million profit. Then the opportunity, markets adjusted. That's when the problems. April 28, inside Alameda Research, something very wrong. Co-founder, Tara McCauley, discovered hidden trading losses, misreported money that couldn't be. Half the staff was. Sam's decisions weren't just risky, they were reckless. Need to step down. No. Tara and half the employees quit that month. Later, they'd warn people effective altruism. They said Sam was dangerous. Nobody listened. Most of his team gone. Sam rebuilt. Brought in old friends. Questioned. Gary Wang, Todd Sim, Caroline L. were young and loyal. Sam had a new idea. Alameda made money by trade platforms that hosted them. They made money. May 29, Sam launched a platform where trade did. Simple idea. Except Sam also owned Alameda. You own the casino, also gamble. How does anyone know you're not rigging? Trust me, that should have raised alarm. Within months, major investors poured money in. By December 2019, CEO of Binance, Changpeng Zhao, had invested millions. CZ biggest. In 2 years, FTX was valued at 32. That conflict of interest, casino owner who also a player, that was about to become a very. By 2021, credibility. Built a character. Messy hair, slept on beanbags in his office. Operating officer, allegedly billionaire in cargo shorts, drove a Toyota Corolla, split rent with treated luxury. Media loved it. Here was a billionaire didn't care about wealth. Wanted to. Sequoia Capital wrote a 45-page calling him. Then Sam started 14 equity deals with Tom Brady and Kevin O'Leary, once called the garbage, suddenly became spokesperson. 15. FTX's logo appeared. Baseball uniform, Formula One cars everywhere, and it worked. By mid-2022, FTX had raised billions, biggest in the world. Sam Bankman, still in his ring, stood before the announced FTX platform where anyone could trade digital assets. The idea sounded setup was far from. Sam also owned Alameda, used own the also gamble. How does anyone know you're not rigged? Trust me, that should have raised alarms. In months, major investors poured money in. By December 20 of Binance, Changpeng Zhao invested easy order. In 2 years, FTX was valued at $32 billion. That conflict of interest, Sam owner also a play about to become a very big problem. By 2021, Sam needed one thing: credibility. Built a messy hair stayed messy, t-shirt stayed wrinkled, slept on beanbags in his office. Operating officer allegedly a billionaire in cargo shorts drove a Toyota Corolla, split rent with treated luxury personal. Media loved it. Here was a billionaire who didn't care about wealth, wanted to save the Roya Capital wrote a 45-page calling him first trillionaire. Then, Sam started 14 equity deals with Tom Brady. Evan O'Leary, once called the garbage, suddenly became spokesperson. 15. FTX's logo appeared. Baseball uniform, Formula One cars, everywhere. Worked. By mid-2020, FTX had raised billions. That same market started cracking. Two projects called Terra and $60 billion wiped out over. Companies started failing. He positioned himself as the FTX bailed out failing. Sam gave in, we're here to help. Meanwhile, Alameda Sam covered the losses. So he did something Roy early November. A reporter gets leaked document. Alameda Research's balance sheet. The numbers told a disturbing most of Alameda's assets weren't they were FT cryptocurrency by FT. In other words, Alameda's wealth was based on other companies. It would be like saying you're rich monopoly. Peng Zhao saw the report. On November 6th, he made that single tweet. The biggest exchange in the world did just why should in hours customers rushed to draw their money. $8 billion and FTX had less than $1 billion of. Sam tweeted that fine. FTX had the 12 hours later different and easy signed a letter by for one day their then lawyers. What they found was worse than turns out the customer. November 9th, Easy walked away. Next day, FTX $32 billion in nobody under how it happened. Then the bankruptcy filing from the very beginning. FTX customer deposits billions of cover trading losses. Buy pen fund political. Remember that problem from owning the casino? Turns out Sam didn't just have a conflict. He built the it. Sam had Gary Wang build a backdoor into hidden permission allowed Alameda to act $65 billion. That's how much Alameda. No automatic sale, no limits. Just a secret pipeline from customer directly to customers thought their money getting wasn't. Sam was using it personal, but here's what makes 6 months before the spring 2020. Someone actually FTX had acquired a smaller FTX itself was based in the Bahamas for oversight, but this new acquisition operated who had stricter employees from that America started review if it that's when they noticed some Alameda had special privileges built into employee named Jim Otten flagged it to escalated the warning Riyadh Sin of Samos's nothing was 3 months later, August. Employee who raised the new CEO brought in to handle bankruptcy had overseen Ron's collapse. History's biggest fraud. He said FTX was worse. No accounting department. Executives used apps that auto-delete failure. Market crashed in 2022. Alameda couldn't cover its losses. Sam just took more customers. November 12th, 2020. Sam Bankman-Fried wire fraud. Securities money laundering. 8 criminal charges. 110. Market 2 projects called Terra and Luna collapsed, wiping out $60 billion. Dominoes started falling. Companies started. Sam positioned himself as FTX bailed out failing. Sam gave in here to help. Meanwhile, Alameda Research. Sam never did something. Roy early November. Reporter gets leaked document. Alameda Research numbers told disturbing most of Alameda's assets FT tokens. Cryptocurrency. In other words, Alameda's wealth was based on company. It would be like saying you're rich because you monopoly. Peng Zhao saw the report on November 6th. Stated that single tweet triggered chaos. The biggest exchange in the world didn't trust FTX. Why should anyone? Within hours, customers rushed to withdraw their money. $8 billion in raw requests. FTX had less than $1 billion of. Sam tweeted that every fine. FTX has the funds. 12 hours later, a different and Easy signed a letter to buy FTX. For one day, there was hope. Then CZ's lawyers opened. What they found was worse than anyone imagined. Turns out the customer money was gone. November 9th, Easy walked away. Next day, FTX declared bank $32 billion to throw in. Nobody understood how it happened this fast. Then the bankruptcy filings. From the very beginning, FTX had been taking customer deposits, Alameda billions of dollars, cover trading losses, buy penthouses, fund political. Remember that problem from the beginning? Owning the turns out Sam didn't just have a conflict. Built the Sam had Gary Wang build a backdoor into hidden permission allowed Alameda unaccess customer $65 billion. That's how much Alameda borrow. No automatic cards, no limit. Just a secret pipeline. Customers thought their money was sitting safely in there. It wasn't. Sam was using it like his personal piggy. But here's what makes 6 months before the collapse, spring 2022, someone actually found the backdoor. FTX had acquired a smaller regulated FTX itself was based in Bahamas. Where oversight was this new acquisition operated under American who had stricter. So employees from that American exchange started reviewing how if it met. That's when they noticed something. Alameda had special privileges built into the employee named Jim Otten flagged it to us. He escalated the concern up the warning Riyadh Sin, one of Sam's closest. Nothing was 3 months later in August. Employee who raised the concern fired. The new CEO brought in to handle bankruptcy had overseen one of history's biggest frauds. He said FTX was no accounting. Executives using apps that auto-delete. Complete failure. Basic. When the market crashed in 2020, Alameda couldn't cover its losses. Sam just took more customers. November 12th, Sam Bankman-Fried Bahamas. Wire fraud, money laundering, criminal charges up to 100. Caroline Ellison and Gary Wang both flipped and pleaded guilty. Testify again. October 2020 trial began. Caroline Ellison walked down the courtroom. Sam directed me to commit these. She described everything. Fake balance, $10 billion taken from how Sam told her it was for 3 days. She testified. Every time someone asked who gave the answer, Sam did. Sam had built a market cracked, devoured customer funds to self a lot. Backdoor was not a glitch. Fee signed by Sam and built into the code from that hidden permission gave Alameda access $65 billion in customer. No limits, no safeguards, no oversight. Customers saw their balances, thought their money, but it was already gone. Spent on trading losses. Scale of the deception, $10 billion in customer funds gone. System kept running as nobody checked. 6 months before the collapse, spring 2020, someone almost caught him. Employee at a regulated exchange acquired, found the back door. That employee flagged it. Escalated. The warning Riyadh Sin, one of Sam's closest. Nothing was 3 months later, August. Employee who raised the concern fired. Warning was buried. The new CEO brought in to he said FO accounting department executives apps that auto no paper no board over. No one asked. Market crashed and Alameda couldn't cover. Sam took more wealth. Bankman wire for money laundering. Caroline L pleaded guilty. Over trial. Caroline L walked down. Sam directed bribed fake balance $10 days. Time didn't mean Caroline per hour. Guilty. The boy gene of the world. Now so. What was not a genius? Not a safe. Just someone who fooled venture capital, hiding losses, fooled Congress while funneling customer regular lost her knowledge. Someone who on $10 customer with this possible builded fed he out the trust we asked question to be asked trusted by a regular one woman college. Now took to read who'd worked as a 30-year higher pay was sit and go. These weren't investors regulate. Sam told them here's the trim he has this haven't been Sam Bankman 5 year run conflict trust. That's the as the already holding and what do we do remember not as a cautionary as the route the old people. Sam Bankman-Fried he understood that if you look messy enough, talk about charity enough, move fast enough, stop asking hard questions. That's the thread that runs through so many confidence, the illusion of willingness as the alternative uncomfortable. Here's the thing, we can choose to learn, we can choose to ask the question, look past the messy heritage talk, show me because in the golden thread of this about money, about the difference story, Sam Bankman told a beautiful world bought it. Truth was always there, hiding and that's the thread we need as the next chapter of we get to decide what character. Here's my invite. Next time you see a storific founder who selfless, promise that do good, pause, ask the question, what are they not? Because that's where the real story gaps, silent things they hope you want to keep following the tribe. Because every wheel one trying the golden not the one under the money mechanic. A lesson that's been true for centuries, true because the past isn't just the past, the map. Know how to read it, where we're going. Next time someone tells you they're building something good of the world, or saying for the golden thread to look past. This is Thomas and the